The better we understand what adaptogens are, the better we will be empowered to share them with others and to understand why we need them and why other people need them. So let's talk about why there are a certain class of plants that get this classification, that get this name of adaptogens. And here's the most important thing to remember when it comes to that. These type of plants get the name or the title or the classification adaptogens because they have learned to adapt themselves to their environment. They have learned to survive in the midst of, there are plants, adaptogens, that grow in the top of mountains. There are plants that grow in very arid environments like deserts. Other ones in very cold environments where you look around and you say, well, there's no life here of any kind, and there come the adaptogens surviving in such cold or hot environments, just places where you would think there would be no life. So adaptogens actually have learned to adapt themselves to their environment and survive. So something amazing happens when we take them. The same characteristics that they develop as they grow in these harsh environments are the same characteristics we are given. We are provided with that same type of characteristics so that now we have it. And whatever our circumstances or our environment is, we can now adapt to it and survive. And as a whole, as a society, we need to learn to do that and do it quickly. Because if not, the lifespan will continue to be less and less as time progresses. We are living in a place where there is so much that we face that exhausts us that we need to learn to do things a little different. And if we don't, among all those things, learn to adapt, our health is going to continue to suffer because of it. And so because we're going to be talking about health, let's talk about what that exactly means. And remember, I'm not a doctor. I don't prescribe. I don't treat illnesses, and I definitely do not diagnose. And nothing that I talk about here when I talk about products is meant to be taken for a certain imbalance of for a certain illness. So the products I talk about are not linked to illnesses either. I merely share what I've learned in the last decades of helping thousands, hundreds of thousands of people achieve health. And so when we talk about health, there is no such thing as good health or bad health. If you have health, it's got to be something that determines your wellness. So what is health? Because a lot of people are walking around there saying, well, I don't have any bad diagnosis. No one's told me I have high blood pressure diagnosis or lupus or asthma or arthritis, and therefore I must be healthy. Because, I wake up and I complain of pain and lack of energy and I'm depressed and I drag myself through life, but I'm healthy because I don't have a diagnosis of any other type of any medical diagnosis. That's not what health is. Health is the state of physical, mental, and emotional and social wellness. It means you get up every morning and you bounce out of bed because nothing hurts, because you have energy. It means you feel mentally strong during the day. You're not carrying this own little personal cloud that keeps you foggy and not aware of things, or just don't, I can't focus right now. Nope. When you have health, mentally, emotionally, physically, you are well. Socially as well. So you're not looking to just, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want people around me. I'm not a social person. I'm a hermit. Nope. When you're healthy, none of that is identifying you. So there is a very big misconception between what health is in reality. And because we have these things that affect us, we are in pain, we are lacking energy, we are having emotional issues. Because that happens at any given time, and sometimes very often and daily in our lives, we need adaptogens because our ambiance, our surroundings affect us that way. So we are going to need adaptogens, which is what we get from Sol. And the way we get them is every single product in Sol has at least one adaptogen, and some of them have 4 and even 6. So adaptogens, if we're taking Sol, are coming into our body. And so what are they? What are they not? How do we use them best? And as we talk about this, why do we need them? Well, here's a couple of reasons why we need adaptogens. The most important one is because when we face stress, which we do every day, good or bad, we have a physical, our body inside, biologically, physiologically, has a response. We may be aware of it, we may not, but it's occurring. What is the response? Well, our body actually places us in a fight or flight mode. That means it physically prepares me to stay and fight or to take off running. That's what stress does to me. Now, the stress I face doesn't always lend itself for a fight or for taking off running. You know, it's not a bear that's coming to harm us. It's not a person that's coming to harm us all the time. It's unexpected bills. It's unexpected losses in life, friends, loved ones. It's just so many different things. It's kids crying. It's my husband. It's my job. It's the people I work with. It's my employees, my employer. So many things stress us. And so our body continuously keeps us like a soldier at war, fight or take off running. Now, the sad thing is, because this is the type of the stress we face, there is no need to fight or take off running. Sometimes I wish we would. Sometimes, in fact, I wish that it could be a good thing to learn, that when we face a stress, we say, hang on, I'll be back in 10 minutes, and we take off and run around the block or walk fast. Or we actually have a boxing bag nearby, you know, outside in my home, in a room designed in the garage, and I can go and hit it a couple of times and then come back and react. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But because we don't do that and we don't have that availability, every time we need to understand that every time I face stress, something is happening. And this is what is happening. When I face stress, a lot of things will be ignored in my body. Digestion is ignored. Inflammation is ignored. Healing is ignored. Why? Because that's not important for the body at that moment. That body perceives, your body perceives when it is under stress, that it needs to keep you alive. It needs to keep you in this fight or flight mode. So it does. So now, as you understand that, now it makes sense. Oh, that's why I have all these digestive issues. Oh, that's why I have all this pain all the time. It shifts and it goes to different parts of the body. Eventually it's everywhere all the time. But that's why my hip hurts and my legs hurt, or my feet, or my head, or my neck, or my shoulders. Wow, it's inflammation as a result of the stress all the time, as a result of what we eat, of what we're not eating, of things around us. The body has no time to give attention to that inflammation because it's too busy keeping you alive from the other stress you're facing. It has no time to take care of your digestion, so you're always going to have those digestive issues because it's too busy keeping you in a fight or flight mode. Now that we understand that, and think, this happens to people all the time. There are people that daily are facing this. And because of it, the body has to divide its energy between keeping you alive because it feels you're stressed and your life is at stake, and doing all these other necessary body functions. So it uses most of its energy to keep you alive, to keep you on the fight or flight mode, and very little to heal, to help your digestion, to help with inflammation. And so we go around life achy, out of energy, constantly dragging ourselves. And the sad thing is, that's when we have one stressor in life. But what happens when we have so many? Because we may lose a loved one. We may have unexpected bills. We may get fired from a job. We may have children that are crying all the time. But what happens when everything happens at the same time? And I often think of women when this happens. This is exactly what we have not been designed for. As women, we were designed to live at home, to take care of the house, the food, the kids, and that's it. Now we've come out into the workforce and we've fought for equality and have gotten it. So now we get to go out and do all these things, but we still have to come home and face the kids, the house, the laundry, and the craziness. So do you not think that our stressors as women increase? Of course they do. And will that not make us even more prone to autoimmune illnesses? Of course it will. More prone to illnesses in general? Of course it will. Because our plate is so full that our body has to decide what to do, and it decides or chooses to keep us like soldiers at war because that's what we are. That's where soul comes in because of the adaptogens. So now I'm taking in all these neat adaptogens, but I have to be careful because more doesn't mean it's better. In other words, that hurried lifestyle that I have, that hustle and bustle of every day, is not a good one. It's what's going to make me sick. So as I take adaptogens, I need to learn to listen to my body as well. I don't want to look at it as adaptogens as something that's going to let me continue to live this hurried lifestyle without getting sick, because that's not what's going to happen. More is not better. More will not avoid pitfalls in my life. And how do I know that more is not better? Well, because adaptogens have always existed. And when they existed before supplements were around, they were eaten in their raw state. So we'd grab some roots, put it on our plate. If we had a plate back then, we'd grab fruits, from the adaptogen plant. We'd grab leaves, and it was whatever we could eat. And it worked. The little bit that I could consume and fit into my tummy actually worked. It gave me endurance. It gave me everything that those plants that were grown in this environment developed. Those characteristics that these plants have of endurance and stamina now became mine. Now I got those characteristics, and I was able to adapt to my surroundings. Today, it's the same thing. As I take them in, they'll help me to sustain myself, to have more stamina, to have more endurance. But I don't need a lot for that to happen. I just need a variety of them. And if I put in a variety, I'm going to have what I need. But I don't ever want to push my body with adaptogens. I don't want to think that they're a magic pill that's going to allow me to take it and keep on doing all the craziness that I'm doing. So think, adaptogens are not here to replace your healthy lifestyle, the one you don't have, but you have to develop. So even though they do everything listed here on the presentation that you're looking at, we're not going to read it. Even though they will do everything listed here, they're not going to help you avoid a physical breakdown if you are not willing to make changes. So what does that mean? That means that I need to learn to use adaptogens to help me make changes. As I have energy, I want to use it to go exercise. As I control my cravings, great. Now I don't want the cake. Let me have some fruit. As I'm tired. Then I want to sleep. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Well, it's too early to go to bed, but I'm tired. Let me listen to my body and go to sleep. Because if I take adaptogens, they will help me adapt to my environment. But the way they help me adapt is by making changes that I need to be able to be healthy again. And those changes will include a change of eating habits so that I crave and eat the right things, exercise, a correct water intake, and sleeping at the right time so that I get the rest I need. And that's what Soul Naturals will do for you. Soul Naturals, package number 3 or package number 7, which you can see here, will help you not just prevent illness, but rather promote health. I'll take these products, and in other videos I've talked about how to take them. I'll take these products, and now my body has what it needs to adapt itself to my surroundings, and I can do so successfully. Healthy. Now I'm going to start waking up with energy, bouncing out of bed because I'm not complaining of pain. But as I start on adaptogens, I want to start making changes in my life. I want to do things differently because it's not about how do I take in adaptogens to continue the crazy life I have. No, that will only lengthen it. It'll only push that breakdown a little further away, but you'll still have it because adaptogens don't work to prevent those falls that you have. So as you think of all this, remember, yes, adaptogens are a special classification of herbs. And yes, they are there to help you have a better lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle, to be able to have health. But you have to learn how to use them. Number 1, do we need them? Yes, we all need them because the stressors and the stress we have in life, we weren't built for it. Like I said, adaptogens have always existed, but although they've always existed, we didn't have the stress back then that we have today. Women didn't do back then what we do today. That means that as I take adaptogens, I want to give my body the changes it needs. Doesn't mean I can't work. Doesn't mean I can't do all these other things. But it does mean that I'm going to listen to my body and give it all those 4 things that will be like the 4 prongs on a chair so that I can be healthier. I'm going to sleep and be done and asleep by 11 o'clock. I'm going to eat healthy, more raw foods in my diet. I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to take a good amount of water in my diet. And so will help you do that because you have drinks that you have to take. And so talk to the person who has given you this video, or if you found it on YouTube, please leave me a comment and I will certainly get back to you. Talk to the person who gave you this so that you can find out how to use soul, because it's full of adaptogens and they will help you return to health.